violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
In a city in crisis, Fox 45 cameras have captured video of what appears to be open-air drug dealing taking place in communities across Baltimore.
Yo, this is literally just like The Wire. Let's run it back. As you can see, immediate indicators of demon time. Sagging the pants that low. Absolutely an indicator of demon time.
What appears to be open-air drug dealing taking place in communities across Baltimore. And some people who are frustrated with what's happening and what they say isn't being done by leadership.
Fox 45 News' Mackenzie Frost joins us live now with the tensions that continue to grow. Mackenzie?
Maxine and Kai, we know that City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby says that her office is no longer prosecuting simple possession. She says that her office is going to prosecute drug dealers, but...
All right, so notice how they're making the rules more lax, not prosecuting simple possession. And, you know, I think the war on drugs is kind of overplayed. I do think that there should be legalization across the board, and just like regulation, which, you know, I know everybody hates that word over here, but they're still illegal. And once you start making these concessions, people start to get lax on the way they deal with it. There's not that many repercussions for being in possession. So it's like they have to have proof that you're selling it, and that could be you itemizing them, like bagging them up, or you know, having a scale or whatnot. But other than that, if you get caught, they can't really tell that you're a dealer or a buyer.
Some community members say that message from the top is not trickling down to everyone.
Street after street, Fox 45 News capturing video of what appears to be open-air drug dealing, some happening with the Baltimore Police Department helicopter circling overhead. And the people living with it are coming forward, some too afraid to show their face.
How can we stay in the city and live like this?
Like this woman in West Baltimore who says her neighborhood is overrun by drug dealers.
They're there from 8:30 in the morning until 4:30 the next day.
And you could tell that's a sister. She said they there from 8:30 in the morning till 4:30 the next day. I mean, these dealers are working overtime. And they messing up the community. They bring in everything that comes with that. It's not like they're just making their little plays and making their money and keeping it moving. Nah, it's beef involved. They're trash. They gonna bring some food and leave the wrappers everywhere. They gonna drop their cups wherever. They gonna litter. They're not gonna respect the territory that they distributed on.
City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby doubling down on her prosecution policies.
We've been very clear, not only myself, but also the commissioner, that we...
Wow. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? The state's attorney is a sister. Okay? These sisters are just ruining cities. Just ruining them. Because they come in with these woke policies. And it's not because she's a sister, okay? It's because she's coming in with the indoctrination of the woke policies and, you know, the victimization mindset. And she's like, what can I do to alleviate the punishment for these super gremlins on demon time?
We are prosecuting drug dealers.
But for some in the community, Mosby's words are not translating.
She's probably smashing a drug dealer right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Another woman in West Baltimore's reality playing out in front of her, wanting to hide her identity while she says her concerns are anything but hidden.
We can't get no rest because they out dealing drugs every day, all day. Trauma that they experience every day.
Following a quadruple.
You hear her talking about trauma. You hear everybody. And this is the, I think this guy is the mayor, I believe, or city councilman. Everybody at this podium is a brother. We got representation out the wazoo in Baltimore. And that's probably why it's in the condition that it's in.
Shooting just last weekend. Mayor Brandon Scott and Police Commissioner Michael Harrison in the hot seat for hours, listening to concerns from Baltimoreans about the violence.
Mayor Scott, Commissioner, it's time to go.
But the dirty drug problem bubbling up too.
This drug being sold everywhere and everybody sees it. I said, look to the right. They were dealing drugs.
Sister, this is what you voted for. Honestly, it's hard to feel bad for you sisters. I mean, well, I'm not going to say nobody's getting hurt, but, you know, you got the dope boys, your kings out there, and they slanging on the block, and they're bringing down the property value, and this is exactly what you voted for. This is exactly what you've been advocating for. Defund the police so the police ain't driving through and patrolling, all right? You know, criminal justice reform and bail reform, so if they do get locked up, they're getting out and getting back on the block by 8:30 a.m. for their regular shift. So, I mean, what do you expect, sis?
And I say, look to the left. The officers is right over at.
Data provided through the state's attorney's new dashboard shows a decline in drug dealing charges. 840 indictments were made in 2019, 455 in 2021. The numbers do include years during the pandemic.
Anybody who thinks that we're not, please rest assured we are continuing to do our job and to arrest drug dealers and to prosecute them.
Mosby says her office will continue working with BPD to get drug dealers off the streets.
Now, the dashboard also shows that from 2019 to 2021, of those cases brought forward, Mosby's office has a 98% conviction rate for felony narcotic distribution. Maxine?
2 more murders and 8 more shot just past 12 hours. It is the latest on what has been a violent year so far for Baltimore.
2 murders, 8 more shot in 12 hours. They almost had 1 shooting an hour in Baltimore. This is getting ridiculous. These super gremlins are not letting up. 73 people have now been murdered in the city in the last year. 1 man was shot and killed around 5:30 this evening on Asquith Street in East Baltimore. And early this morning, BPD found a man dead in an alleyway. He had been shot several times in the head. And new in just the past 10 minutes, Baltimore police say a 3rd man has died in one of those shootings from today. Can we get an identity on these slain individuals? You know, I can guarantee that every single one of those people who were shot were brothers. Okay? And we see the drug issue that Baltimore is having. It could be over drugs. It could be over anything. It could be over beef. It could be over internet stuff. Who knows? But I'm telling you guys, when I say these super gremlins are on demon time, I mean it.
2 men were shot just before 2 this afternoon at South Charles and Conway Streets near the Royal Sonesta Harbor Court Hotel. Both were taken to the hospital, where 1 just died at shock trauma. No arrests have been made in any of these shootings so far.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this sun violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
So you guys heard her. She said no arrests have been made. I continue to push this home. You're not going to get any arrests, okay? You're not. All right? The community eats its own, spits it out, and nobody's going to say anything. Nobody cares. Right? And there's fear instilled in the people who would go and say something. All credit due to your street code. So there's no real type of justice that is going to occur because these super gremlins, they just won't allow it.
He was yelling, help, help.
Violence across Baltimore, shots ring out just as the weekend begins.
Some residents saying this is the worst they've seen the crime in years.
Welcome to all of you who are streaming this evening. I'm Vic Carter.
And I'm Rick Ritter. Well, breaking news right now. 2 people are dead, 5 others injured after 4 shootings just hours apart in Baltimore City.
And the first just steps away from the Inner Harbor. That's where Annie Rose Ramos is with details of Friday's violence.
And how people are simply fed up with the same shootings over and over.
So you heard what he said. People are fed up, but are they gonna actually do anything about it? Right? We've got these council meetings on these dope dealers who are standing outside of these, older sisters' cribs and dealing dope. They're trying to get these city council meetings together and talk to the mayor and talk to this and talk to that, and it's just not working. They can't understand why it's not working, but they keep voting for the same people. Keep voting for the same people. Keep pushing the same policies. And if one of these little super gremlins were to get confronted by a police officer for shooting another brother, and he had to rough this super gremlin up, there would be protests all throughout the streets. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the streets behind this young lady where these shootings are taking place are pretty clear.
Annie Rose.
Yeah, Rick and Vic, we are a block away from the Inner Harbor off of Charles Street, where behind me police say there was a shooting at 2 p.m., leaving 2 victims right here. One of the victims, a teenager. The second, a 20-year-old man, Rick and Vic, we just learned has since died at shock trauma. Now, this is the Otterbein area. It is known for being a walkable neighborhood with a lot of...
Did you hear what she said? A walkable neighborhood. A walkable neighborhood. So what are what is the community? A unwalkable neighborhood? I mean, and the thing is, it's not unwalkable. It's just only walkable for super gremlins on demon time.
Trauma. Now, this is the Otterbein area. It is known for being a walkable neighborhood with a lot of foot traffic, making it all the more shocking when residents heard
walkable neighborhood. Translation, a glider neighborhood.
Gunshots in broad daylight right outside their front door.
I was in my apartment and you heard the gunshots say pow, 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 pow.
Gunshots ringing out across Baltimore City Friday.
I heard 3 boom, boom, boom.
The first shooting off Charles Street in the Otterbein neighborhood around 2 p.m., leaving 2 suffering from gunshot wounds, including an 18-year-old.
And I'm going to tell you right now, these walkable areas are going to become unwalkable real fast.
Crazy. I lived in this area for almost 3 years and nothing like this ever happens in this neighborhood.
An hour later, another double shooting, this one in West Baltimore, where a man and woman were both shot. And just after 5 p.m., a young man and woman were shot off Cordelia Avenue in Northwest Baltimore. The same neighborhood held a meeting Thursday to discuss crime with the mayor and police commissioner.
Police should know where to be seen.
This is on all of us, starting with me.
And at 5:23 tonight in East Baltimore.
Oh, whoa. Did we hear some accountability? This is on all of us, starting with me. Was that some accountability from a son, brother?
Started with me.
And at 5:23 tonight in East Baltimore, a shooting killed a 53-year-old man. 7 shootings in less than 4 hours Friday.
It's scary.
Back in the Otterbein neighborhood, residents are now feeling uneasy about an area they always thought was safe.
I don't want to feel kind of now more worried every time I'm walking in the neighborhood.
This happened in broad daylight. I'm sure even during the day it's going to make me feel a little different.
But why are you smiling, Harold? Why are you smiling, bruh? See, this is what I'm talking about. The gliders, they don't have enough fire about these situations. They're not angry enough about these situations. You're supposed to be like, not in my neighborhood. You're supposed to go neighborhood watch. You know what I mean? Or at least that's what the media is telling us. They supposed to go, he's supposed to go McMichaels on this type of stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm sure even during the day it's going to make me feel a little different.
People come down here in this area just walking freely. It's safe, until something like this happens.
And we just learned from police that there was yet another shooting tonight at around 8:30 p.m. This one in southwest Baltimore, where a man was shot in the back, but police say he is expected to be okay. I'm Annie Rose Ramos reporting for CBS News, Baltimore.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.